The crackdown on the Iranian protesters is still ongoing. People are dying, people are being tortured, people are being arrested because our administration failed to do anything but issue a few frilly words which embolden Iran's regime even more so. Joining us now is Jeffrey Kuhner to report on this.
Michael, very few issues touch me and frankly frighten me as much as the prospect that the Jews are staring at. This to me is clearly now the ramifications and the consequences of what has happened in Iran. For as the students rose up and as the protesters rose up against that odious fascist regime in Tehran, and as we stood by and did nothing, and as they have now been slowly gunned down in the streets, the mullahs are now back in power. The Nazi Persian dictator Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is now firmly back in the saddle. And privately, Michael, what I have been hearing is that he is now saying to everybody, quote, Israel's days are numbered. Now Iran's leadership is 9 months to maybe a year away from a nuclear bomb. Publicly and privately, Ahmadinejad has now repeatedly said that he will take this nuclear bomb and he will detonate it in Jerusalem and on Tel Aviv. That he will now, quote, wipe Israel off the map. And not only that, Michael, he is now vowing to finish what Adolf Hitler started, the final solution of the Jewish question. And Michael, I have to tell you this. In all of my years in journalism, I have never seen Israeli intelligence officials this panicked and this worried. They now know they are facing their most ruthless, fanatical, and determined foe since Adolf Hitler. And they are now privately bracing for the possibility of a nuclear war. Israel now is under tremendous pressure from the Obama administration to not launch attacks upon Iran's nuclear facilities. In fact, Michael, I can tell you this as an exclusive to the Savage Nation. Having spoken to people within the Israeli intelligence community, what my sources have confirmed irrevocably is that Obama, in private meetings with Netanyahu, has told him face to face, you are not to bomb Iran. As far as the Obama administration is concerned, they now believe that an Iranian bomb is inevitable and that they can deal with it. As Obama told Netanyahu, quote unquote, what my sources told me, we can live with an Iranian bomb. And if we can live with it, you should live with it. And Michael, here to me is the fundamental, seminal question that we are now facing. Israel now is confronted with an existential threat. And at this moment, the Israelis now have to decide, are they going to allow Ahmadinejad and the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, the man who really pulls the strings in Iran, a nuclear bomb and potentially a weapon that will wipe the Jews off the face of this earth, and it will now end, to me anyway, Jewish civilization as we've known it. And if they do not respond, Michael, Iran will take this bomb, they will launch a devastating nuclear strike on Israel, and then they will consolidate their power all across the Middle East and launch a global holy war against the United States and the West. And as this goes on, Ahmadinejad and the mullahs have vowed that even if Israel responds in the face of a nuclear attack, the Iranian leadership is willing to sacrifice millions of fellow Iranians. They believe that in the end, Michael, that Iran can survive a nuclear exchange with Israel, but Israel can't because it is too small. This is the level of fanatical evil that lurks in the very heart and is embedded in the very nature of this regime. And so, Michael, as we look back upon the last 2 weeks of the democratic revolution in Iran, we now clearly see this was maybe history's greatest opportunity to bring the mullahs down, and instead presented with this perhaps once-in-a-generation opportunity to bring true freedom and democracy and human rights, to open up the regime in Iran. We have stood back. We have squandered maybe the greatest opportunity to bring peace in our time throughout the Middle East. And as this went on, Michael, Barack Obama put realpolitik above principled idealism. He put realpolitik and his own vanity and ego above American national interests and, frankly, the interests of our closest ally, Israel. Because what we could have done was Obama could have come out at the beginning of this crisis and he could have said, we stand with the Iranian people. With every bullet that you fire, with every protester that you beat, with every journalist that you imprison, we, the United States, will lead the free world against you. We will not recognize your regime. We will impose punishing sanctions. You will not get a drop of gasoline imported into Iran. Your economy will come to a standstill. And more than that, we will meddle. Because now you have committed an act of aggression against the Iranian people, against the Iranian nation, against the Iranian democracy, and by extension, against the international community. We stand with freedom-loving people everywhere. Had he said that, Michael, it would have shaken the fragile, volatile, weak regime of Ahmadinejad to its very core and its very foundation. Instead, Michael, we had mealy-mouthed words, meek, empty words from a meek, empty president. Finally, our coward-in-chief went to the cameras and said he condemns the Iranian actions. He condemns the mullahs. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. President, but you're $1 short and a day late. And now the people of Iran are facing the ultimate price. And Michael, for the last 2 weeks, I have been in constant contact with Iranian dissidents, with people behind the closed walls of Iranian society. And let me tell you what they're telling me. They are being murdered and beaten and imprisoned. In the middle of the night, the feared Basij, the fascist militia, are going around into student dorms and house by house. And they are beating, torturing, and imprisoning leaders of the protest movement and pro-democracy activists. Ahmadinejad has now unleashed his police terror state. And Michael, I want to say this now to the people of Iran, because many Iranian exiles and Iranian Americans actually listen to your show. They are now doing everything they can to get information into their country, because now the internet's been cut off to some degrees. Any contact with the outside world has been cut off. Now their only lifeline is to the Iranian exile community, especially here in America. I want to speak now directly to them. My friends, I want to say this to you clearly and unequivocally. You are heroes and martyrs for one of the greatest causes of our time. Remember that you now speak for the Iranian nation, and you represent everything that is best and brightest and holiest among you. You have stood up against the most evil fascist dictatorship of our time, and you have been abandoned by Barack Hussein Obama and many of the leaders in the West. But I want to assure you of one thing, that maybe you have been abandoned by the president in the White House. You have not been abandoned by the people of America. We stand with you shoulder to shoulder. You stand for a great Persian nation, a great Persian culture, and a great Persian civilization. And ever since 9/11, we in America have been asking, where is the other side of the Muslim world? Where is the other face of the Muslim world? The face of the Muslim world that craves freedom and democracy and dignity. And you have now shown it through your actions. You are one of the greatest generations that a great Iranian nation has produced. Your cause is just. Your cause is right. And I want to say these final words to you. They have broken your bodies, but they cannot and will not break your spirit. And your spirit of the last 2 weeks has ignited a flame that will keep the Iranian nation and Iranian democracy alive for generations to come. We back you. We support you. Keep up your good fight. And I want you to know, it is always darkest before the daylight. Your cause is right, and you will triumph, and the American people will support you, heart, mind, and soul. God bless you. Michael, back to you, my friend.
Thanks for the report, Jeff. I'll be right back. It's the Savage Nation.
Savage.